Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The air inside Newman Enterprises felt colder than usual, as if the entire building sensed something was wrong. Devon Winters didn't bother hiding his frustration as he stepped off the elevator, Nate Hastings right behind him. Both men wore the same expression, tight jaws, narrowed eyes, and a simmering fury barely contained beneath polished suits. Lily Winters was missing. Not unreachable, not ignoring calls, missing. And when anything in Genoa City spiraled into chaos, there was one name that inevitably hovered in the background like a storm cloud: Victor Newman. Devon didn't wait for permission. He strode straight into Victor's office, Nate closing the door firmly behind them. Victor looked up from behind his desk, calm as ever, fingers steepled. Nikki Newman stood by the bar cart, her gaze flicking between the men with quiet concern. "Well," Victor said smoothly, "to what do I owe this unannounced visit?" Devon didn't waste time. "Where is Lily?" The question hung in the room like a loaded weapon. Victor's expression didn't change, not even a flicker. "I beg your pardon." "You heard me," Devon shot back. "She vanished, phone off, no contact, no explanation, and every time something like this happens, somehow you know more than you admit." Nate stepped forward, trying to keep the confrontation measured. "Victor, we're not here to start a war. We're trying to find Lily. If you have any information, any at all, we need it." Victor rose slowly from his chair, walking around his desk with deliberate composure. "I care about Lily," he said. "She is family. Why would I jeopardize her safety?" Devon scoffed. "Because you're playing chess again, because Matt Clark is back in town, because whenever someone becomes a threat to your empire, people around you become collateral." At the mention of Matt Clark, Nikki stiffened. Victor's eyes hardened slightly, though his voice remained calm. "Matt Clark is a criminal. If he's responsible for Lily's disappearance, that would concern me greatly." "That's not what I asked," Devon replied sharply. "Do you know where she is?" Victor met his gaze, unblinking. "I know. Those islands." Nate searched Victor's face for cracks. "We know Matt was recently released. We know tensions are high. Lily confronted him publicly last week. That's not a coincidence." Victor folded his hands behind his back. "If Matt Clark has taken Lily, then we will handle it." Devon's eyes flared. This isn't your operation, this is my sister." Victor's tone dropped, steel beneath silk. "Everything that happens in this city affects my family. That includes Lily. And if Matt Clark thinks he can provoke fear by targeting her." He let the threat trail off. Devon exhaled sharply. "You're not answering us." "I have answered you," Victor said evenly. "I do not know Lily's location, but I assure you I will find out." Nate glanced at Devon. They both knew Victor rarely lied outright, but he also rarely revealed the full truth. "We don't need reassurances," Nate said quietly. "We need action." Victor gave a slow nod. "Then perhaps you should focus your efforts on Matt Clark. He is the one who benefits from chaos." Devon's mind raced. Was Victor genuinely in the dark, or was he manipulating the situation, letting Matt draw attention while he maneuvered behind the scenes? As they turned to leave, Victor's voice stopped them. "If Lily contacts you," he said, "inform me immediately." Devon didn't answer. Outside the office, Nate ran a hand through his hair. "He's hiding something." "Of course he is," Devon muttered. "The question is what?" Across town, Phyllis Summers sat in a dim corner of society, swirling her drink. She had perfected the art of looking relaxed while plotting 3 moves ahead. When Ashby walked in, she arched a brow. "Well," she drawled, "if it isn't the prodigal ex-husband." Kane approached cautiously, tension etched into his face. "I need to talk to you." Phyllis smirked. "That usually means one of 2 things: you're in trouble or you've caused it." "Both," Kane admitted. That got her attention. He sat across from her, leaning forward. "It's about Lily." Phyllis' smirk faded slightly. "What about her?" She's in danger." "Join the club," Phyllis muttered. "Half this town is." Kane shook his head. "No, this is because of me." Phyllis studied him carefully. "Explain." Kane exhaled heavily. "Matt Clark reached out to me before his release. He wanted leverage. He wanted information about Chancellor and Winters, about Lily." Phyllis' eyes sharpened instantly. "And you gave it to him?" "No," Kane snapped, then lowered his voice. "But I didn't report it either. I thought I could handle him. I thought if I played along just enough, I could keep him contained." Phyllis leaned back unimpressed. "You thought you could outsmart Matt Clark?" I was trying to protect Lily, and now she's missing. The accusation landed hard. Kane's shoulders sagged. I never meant for this to happen. Phyllis tapped her glass thoughtfully. So this is your big confession? You danced with a snake and now you're surprised you got bitten. He looked at her directly. I need your help. Phyllis laughed softly. You must be desperate. I am. Phyllis thrived in desperation. It was currency in Genoa City. What exactly do you think I can do? She asked. You have connections, you hear things. If Matt's making moves, you'll know. She narrowed her eyes. And what do I get? Kane hesitated. Information. Her interest sharpened about. Oh, Victor. That made her smile slowly. You always did know how to tempt me. Meanwhile, at Crimson Lights, Noah Newman stared at his phone for the 10th time in 5 minutes. Sienna hadn't answered his texts. Ordinarily, that wouldn't alarm him, but nothing about this week was ordinary. Matt Clark's name had resurfaced like a toxic echo from the past, and Noah knew firsthand how chaos rippled through families when men like Matt went unchecked. Sharon Newman noticed her son's tension immediately. You're wearing a hole in that screen, she said gently, sitting beside him. Noah forced a smile, just waiting on Sienna. Sharon's expression softened. You're worried. With Matt back, yeah, I am. He lowered his voice. He's unpredictable, and Sienna, she doesn't see how dangerous he is. Has he contacted her? No, but that's what scares me. He's quiet. Sharon nodded slowly. Quiet can be worse. Noah's jaw tightened. If he thinks he can use her to get to me or to Grandpa, he's wrong. Sharon touched his arm. You can't control everything. No, but I can protect the people I love. He stood abruptly. I'm going to check on her. As he left, Sharon's eyes clouded with worry. Because in Genoa City, protection often came at a cost. And somewhere in a location no one had yet uncovered, Lily Winters opened her eyes in a dimly lit room. Her phone was gone. The door was locked, and footsteps echoed outside. Lily forced herself to stay calm. Panic wouldn't help her now. She scanned the room carefully, a sparsely furnished space, one small window too high to reach, the faint hum of traffic in the distance. She wasn't far from the city. The door creaked open. Matt Clark stepped inside. Well, he said lightly, look who's awake. Lily's eyes flashed with fury. You're insane. Matt smiled faintly. I prefer strategic. Oh, you abducted me. Temporary relocation, he corrected. Lily rose slowly. This won't end the way you think. He tilted his head. Oh, I think it will. Back at Newman Enterprises, Victor received a discreet phone call. He listened silently, expression unreadable. Keep eyes on him, he said quietly before hanging up. Nikki approached. You know something. Victor didn't deny it. Matt Clark is escalating. Does that mean Lily? She is alive. Nikki exhaled in relief. Then why aren't you telling Devon? Victor's gaze hardened because timing is everything. Across town, Phyllis leaned forward as Kane revealed more details about Matt's outreach. You underestimated him, she said. That's mistake number 1. I know. And Victor, she pressed. Kane hesitated. Matt believes Victor has something on him, something damaging. Phyllis' eyes gleamed. Now that is interesting. If Victor held leverage over Matt, this kidnapping wasn't random. It was retaliation. Noah reached Sienna's apartment, knocking urgently. When she opened the door, surprised, relief flooded him. You're okay. She frowned. Why wouldn't I be? Matt's back. Her expression shifted. I heard. And you're not concerned. I refuse to live in fear, she replied calmly. Noah stepped closer. That's brave, but it's also naive. Sienna crossed her arms. You think I can't handle myself? I think Matt Clark doesn't play fair. She softened slightly. Then we face it together. Elsewhere, Nate received a call that froze him in place. They found surveillance footage, he told Devon moments later, Matt near Lily's building. Devon's blood ran cold. Then we move. Victor stood by his window as the sun dipped behind Genoa City's skyline. The game was unfolding exactly as he predicted. Matt wanted a reaction. He would get one. But on Victor's terms. Back in the dim room, Lily stared Matt down. You think this gives you power. It gives me leverage. Against Victor. A smirk flickered, smart as ever. You're outmatched. Am I? He challenged, because right now you're the one locked in a room. Lily's voice steadied. Victor doesn't negotiate with kidnappers. No, Matt agreed, he destroys them. A beat passed. And that, Matt said softly, is precisely why I needed insurance. As Devon, Nate, and eventually even Victor's private security began closing in on Matt's location, tensions in Genoa City reached a breaking point. Phyllis watched from the sidelines, already calculating how this crisis might shift the balance of power. Kane wrestled with guilt, knowing his silence had allowed Matt's confidence to grow. Noah stayed glued to Sienna's side, refusing to let history repeat itself. And Victor prepared to strike. Because when someone threatened his family by blood or by bond, he didn't hesitate. The door to Lily's room burst open hours later. Chaos erupted. Voices shouted. Footsteps pounded. And as Devon rushed inside, pulling Lily into his arms, Matt slipped away through a back exit, disappearing once again into the shadows of Genoa City. But this time, the lines had been drawn clearly. Victor watched the news coverage the next morning, expression carved from stone. This isn't over, Nikki said quietly. No, Victor agreed, it is only the beginnings. Matt Clark had made his moves. Now the war truly began.